Hey everyone, I'm Danny Jack. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about one of my favourite apps of all time, Habitica. So Habitica is a habit tracking app which basically uses like RPG gaming mechanics to kind of make your habit tracking just a little bit more fun. I've been using Habitica now for about maybe a year, maybe 2 years, on and off, sort of come back to it every so often, but it's actually made a dramatic impact in like how I can track my habits, but also making it more fun, less cumbersome, less boring to do, those things which normally aren't particularly rewarding to do. So in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how I use Habitica, how I set it up, how it helps me track different habits, both daily habits and then just habits I want to make sure I'm doing more often. And also how I can use Habitica's reward function to kind of give myself an immediate bit of positive feedback for every time I do a habit I want to do. So the reason I think Habitica works really well for me is when I was a kid, like my favourite video games growing up were games like Pokemon and Final Fantasy VII, all those kind of games where you essentially have a character and you basically go around on like a little story, but your character kind of develops and levels up as they go. So as they do things, the game wants you to do, like fighting monsters or catching Pokemon, you would level up, you would, gain health, but then if you didn't do the right things, then you would lose health. And just the whole experience was very rewarding. It makes it into like very addictive gameplay because you're constantly being given things, given like new items, new equipment for your character, that kind of thing. So it was that short constant feedback loop, of getting new equipment and stuff, which actually made the game so addictive and so fun. The problem is when we're trying to, track habits in the real world, in our own life, a lot of the times the reward is not always obvious to us. Normally it's something where you have to put off like instant gratification, for that long-term reward. Let's take running, for example. The short-term effects of running aren't particularly obvious, you're tired, you don't really want to do it, but the long-term effects obviously are bad. It's good for your health and your mental health and all that kind of thing. So by creating a system, you get a more positive feedback in the moment, and it just keeps that kind of momentum going, and just makes it more fun to track. So Habitica is available on your phone, your tablet, on basically all devices. I mostly use it on my desktop. I just kind of have it open, and when I'm doing something positive about the day, I will tick it off. I try and make a habit of tracking things off in the evening and in the morning as well. But without further ado, let me show you my setup and let me show you how I use it. If you find any of this content helpful, press the like button, press subscribe, press the bell icon, and you'll get more videos like this one. Okay, so I've got Habitica open here. Like I say, I like to use this on the desktop. You can obviously use Habitica on mobile devices or on your iPad or whatever. And it works really well on all devices, to be fair. I just mostly have it open on my desktop and mostly just have it here so that like as I'm doing things throughout the day, I can come over here and like tick things off as I go. But I use the mobile as well, like just before bed or whatever, when I'm ticking off what I've done today. So this is kind of what it looks like at a glance. Essentially, it's split into 4 main sections. You have your habits, your dailies, your to-dos, and your rewards. Habits and dailies, just to explain the difference between the two of them. So your habits are kind of anything you want to make sure that you're doing regularly, but doesn't have to necessarily be done every single day. So basically, there's nothing really penalizing you here if you don't complete the task every day. So for example, like eating healthily, I have like swallow a frog, which is like, doing the most difficult task of the day. So for example, today, my frog I need to swallow is making this video. So I will press tick here. And there you go. I will get some gold, I'll get some mana, get some experience, much like an RPG. You also have your dailies section here, which is probably the thing I use most often. And that's kind of just to track anything which you're doing every single day. So that's things like maybe your routines you want to make sure you're not missing out on. So like I have a morning routine here. I have my morning dump, which is where I basically go through everything for about 15 minutes, write down any tasks I need to get done that day. I normally put that on the to-doist, capture that and clarify that and make a highlight for the day. I have my daily highlight, which is what I got from the book Make Time, where you have one highlight you work on every single day, something that you'd feel proud of looking back that you've done that one thing. So I have my daily highlight here. I always write it down on a post-it note as well, and that is to record today's video. So I can tick that off. I've done today's highlight. And then, just other stuff, meditating, keeping my phone away. Like on certain days, I have to go running. You can see here it's grayed out because today is a Tuesday. I don't need to go for a run on a Tuesday, so I don't actually have to tick that off. Publishing a podcast, I do it every Friday, so that's also grayed out. But publish a video, I do actually have to do that today, so I need to tick that off later on once I've finished recording this and once I've finished editing this as well. So those are my sort of like daily to-dos. There's not too much on here, and this is the reason I sort of went off Habitica at the time. Like I got this way too complicated complicated at the time, and it just got to the point where I wasn't ticking everything off and I was getting frustrated. So I've made this a lot more simple than it used to be, and that's why I'm back using Habitica. You can see here I've got my daily habits, not daily habits, I've got my non-daily habits as well, just things which I think would make a positive impact on my day, but I don't actually have to do them every single day. So that's things like playing a guitar, phoning or meeting a friend. I have like little bonus things here. So, if I read more than 30 minutes a day, then that's a little bonus. I get some more points for that as well. So you also have a to-do section here. I don't actually use this because I put everything into like Todoist and into Notion for like tracking like projects and whatever I'm doing. But to-dos is quite handy if you don't have that kind of system already. Same kind of principle applies. You put stuff down here and you tick it off when it's complete, and you get points and rewards and all that good RPG stuff. Next, you've got your reward section. So this is pretty cool. So you can kind of choose however you want to reward yourself. Like, what is the way that motivates you to kind of maintain your habits? So for some people, it's like purchasing like artificial stuff. So you can get helmets and swords and all this kind of stuff, depending on how much gold you've got. So I could buy this scimitar, one of the two. I could buy that, or you can actually create your own rewards here. So like I have things like watching an hour of TV, for example, playing video games. I'm going to make some more rewards here of just things that I can treat myself to. So as I go through the day and as I'm ticking off habits, and I can reward myself with things like TV and video games and just kind of wasting time, those kinds of things, like enjoyable stuff which aren't particularly productive, I suppose. So as you see here, so as I mentioned before, you kind of get a character, which is kind of a cool part of it, and you have to like kind of keep your character alive. So if you don't complete a daily habit, your character will actually lose health. They might lose mana, that kind of thing. So you have to make sure you're ticking these things off regularly, otherwise your character will suffer. But as you do tick things off, so for example, like meditate here, as I tick this off, you can see I've got some gold, I've got some mana, and I've got some experience and all that kind of stuff. So your character will develop if you do the good things. So it kind of, motivates you to do the good habits, but also make sure that you don't miss things as well. So this is my character profile. He is a level 25 rogue. I'm not really sure what it means when he's a rogue. I think it's just like you have certain like abilities you can do. But basically, yeah, he gets more experience as you go along. And as you start to like use your character more and more, you'll get like certain equipment, and your character will get like things like swords. And I've got this cool like wolf thing I now sit on, I guess. And so like it depends on how you want to use the software, like how it motivates you. Like I like the custom rewards function most, but like a lot of people like things like getting new gear and that kind of thing as well. Now, another really cool thing about Habitica is that actually you can kind of use it as a very social way of tracking your apps as well. There are like parties and guilds where basically you can join up with some of your friends, you can go on missions. And what's cool about this is when you join with someone else, like what happens is you would go on a quest together. But if you didn't, for example, maintain your own habits, your other people in your party, they would lose health as well. So that's like a really cool kind of accountability thing going on, which I'm going to try and set up. In the past, when I've used Habitica, like I haven't joined the parties or the guilds. I've kind of done this all by myself. So you can see here, you've got like the market where you can, buy like eggs, which turn into animals, which I guess you can have like as like on your team, that kind of thing, and you can feed them and maintain them. So there's so many different ways to motivate you to kind of maintain your habits, and it kind of totally depends on like how you want to use this, and it will kind of adapt to you. So like I like the idea of using the custom rewards, and I also like these streaks you have going on. So for example, you can just see just here, so wake up earlier, and I have like a little button here which says like my streak counter is 4, so I've done that 4 days in a row. And as you kind of like you start to do this more and more often, these streak numbers will get higher and higher, and it gets more and more motivating to kind of not break that chain. So just to show you what it looks like on my mobile as well, I've got you can see the mobile version of the app here, which basically works exactly the same way. So you've got dailies and to-dos and your rewards. So if you can see here, if I just tick on eat healthily here, then that should move over to here as well, and I get the points. So that works very well. Let's see. I think I just have to press refresh. Yeah, there you go. So I've ticked it off on here as well. So you can kind of use this on the go as well, which is great. I think use a desktop to kind of set everything up for you, but then like when you're on the go, then this works really, really well. So what I do is basically I will just go on every evening and every morning and just tick off everything that I've done or not done. So far it's going really well for me. What I'd love to do is set up the party system and get some friends on here as well, and maybe like have a little party and we can go on quests and stuff like that, and see if that's a motivating part of it as well, the accountability factor. So if you're interested in joining my party, I guess, then let me know, send me a message or let me know in the comments, and we can set up a little shot takers party thing. So hope you found that video useful. You can see how I've set up all of this. If you have any questions or comments about how I use Habitica or how I use my other two main productivity apps, which is Notion and Todoist, let me know in the comments. I can make videos on those as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you found any of this helpful, press like, press subscribe, and I will put more content out like this as well. So that's all from me, and I will see you on the next one. See you later, guys.